Yeah, this is the part of the process where Mike tells every guest that I'm going to screw up the intro, which I never do.
No, except this time. You did kind of this time. Cause,
Okay.
Yes,
you know, we're not actually starting a show. You're just talking. But hey, guys and girls and everybody, welcome to the Mitch and Mike VO Journey. I'm Mike. That's Mitch, and then in the room on, I don't know, depending on how this sets up when it, you could be there, you could be there, but that's Ashley Bryant.
Hello.
Hello.
All right,
Happy to
thanks
be
for
here.
joining.
Okay.
And
We bring people on to say hello.
yeah, I just want to hear how everyone says hello.
Hello.
That's it. So welcome, Ashley. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So got to know Ashley a little bit before we started recording, and she's just a bright ray of sunshine.
Oh, that's very
If you're
nice.
not watching this on YouTube, if you're just listening, you're missing out on the smile, because the smile sets the tone.
It's charming.
That's
It's
very nice.
charming. Yeah,
That's very nice.
And why don't you tell the story of how you and Mitch met? You met Mitch, and because I found that
How I met Mitch.
fascinating.
Okay. Well, thanks again for having me. Am I allowed to say, is it inappropriate to say that this is my first podcast?
What?
That's
I know.
appropriate. This is
Love
I feel
that.
very excited.
that's amazing.
I feel very
Yes.
excited. So,
Hopefully
was
not
my-
your last.
hopefully not. Yeah. Mitch and I met when I was at VO Atlanta. First timer. I got there early. I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to get in. And so they let me in. They were like, you're not supposed to be here for another couple hours, but it's okay. You're here. So I walked in and I had nothing to do. Some classes had started. Mine wasn't for another few hours. So I just was mingling in a mingle area with people that were there when they were supposed to be there. And I ran into someone and we chatted a little bit. I was sitting down. I made eye contact with someone who sat down with me and we chatted a little bit. And then he left. And then I was by myself again, sitting down. And I was just looking around and saw Mitch and smiled a little bit. And then he sat down. And then we chatted. and that's how I met Mitch. And it was great. And it really was, because it did set a good tone. Because I was definitely nervous.
Sounds like it.
Hadn't done it and didn't know the vibe.
Yeah.
So
Same. I mean, I'm going to reenact the smile for anybody watching.
that was
That
yours?
was your smile.
Or mine?
No, that was her
Yeah,
smile.
that was probably what you did in return to her beautiful smile. You went crepe, and somehow she still let
I
you
was
sit
like,
down
Go
next
ahead,
to her.
sit down.
But, yeah, you look like you need a seat, bud.
Tell me what's wrong with you.
It was really cool. Just having a really positive experience first. It was the first time I met my roommate, Derek, and then meeting you was like, oh, cool. And then we had somebody that we could look across the room and go like, hey, like,
yes.
I know you too. That was super cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
So nice.
And I felt like, I was like, okay, it's a good group. It can be a good group. There are good folks here.
Yeah,
And it
there's
turned
at
out
least
that
a
way.
few.
It really did. It was.
VOs were a good bunch of people, I found as well.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking
Agreed.
forward. We got One Voice again in a couple months, and
Awesome.
gosh, it's so weird that it's been almost a year since my first convention. And I can't wait to get back, because now I'm going to walk in the room and actually know people.
Yeah.
Right.
And not be that, that guy that's just like, hi.
And like what you're going to do. Your plan.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I'm kind of excited for next year. I hope I go to VO Atlanta and
I hope so
know.
too, because I'm going, and so that
Great.
means I would get to meet you in person.
Fantastic.
I want to go.
Let's meet up
Yeah.
a few hours early. I'll look for you and smile.
There we go. Perfect. We have a plan of action
Great.
already in place.
Fantastic.
Nice. I'm going to creep out in the corner and watch you guys meet.
There's that guy with the creepy smile again. All
Mike
right,
always
so-
sets us up with the best questions. I'm so pumped for your questions, Mike.
Yes.
Ooh.
So, Ashley,
So,
tell us, what was that itch?
Oh, that's
What
just
was the
weird.
thing that made you go, you know what? Let's give this VO thing a try.
okay. I'm going to take that back to grad school. We didn't get a whole ton of VO. There wasn't a lot of, we had clowning, we had Shakespeare, speech, voice, and we just had a little segment of voiceover. And
Was this what was your major?
So this was in graduate school. So I went to Yale School of Drama, and it was back when it was called Yale School of Drama.
Whoa.
And
They had clowning.
clowning.
I learned how to be a clown
I
at Yale
learned
School
how to.
of
I
Drama.
was actually not very good, but I had fun, sort of. I also cried sometimes in that class,
Oh my god.
which was when it was successful, usually.
I mean, there are sad clowns.
Yeah, no, I definitely was one. My clown name was Duckfish Bucket, and I hated it and wept on the
that
floor
10
in the middle of the
times
game. And I mean, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I wasn't great. But when we had our VO segment, I did feel good, and I did feel confident, and I really did enjoy it. And I remember thinking, this is a cool thing, but I didn't know much about how. I had really no clue how to make that a career for sure. And so I just thought this could be fun. I'd like to try this. I like these short, fun little scripts, and I enjoy this. So, and that's what we were doing. It was mostly like commercial. And it was just a quick little segment, maybe a week, maybe not. Might have been just a couple days, a couple classes.
Wow.
And I just had a good time. And so when I came out of school, I was really fortunate to end up with a great commercial agency and said, hey, I'm also interested in voiceover. And they were like, yeah, great. You don't really sound like you're from anywhere. We can't pinpoint where you're from, so that could be helpful. But then I didn't get a ton of auditions. But I was excited when I did. It'd be radio here and there. And I didn't really start, and I would do them and I'd be so excited to do them. And that was back in the day where, I would audition at my agency. They had a studio there. I'd
you
go
go
to
in.
the agency.
Yeah, back
and
where
then,
we weren't in our own.
get on the train,
Yeah.
back to Brooklyn to see that I had another audition and turn around. This is pre-kid. When I could do
No.
that sort of thing, turn around and go back into the city for another audition and then record in the studio. And I really enjoyed it. And then I was in a play, and I'm not sure about this story, but I think that one of my agents saw me in this show, and I suddenly started getting more VO auditions. And I don't know what it was that took, but it went well for me early on commercially. And so I did a series of Chick-fil-A commercials and realized, you can. This is like doing a commercial, and I was doing the tags, and my husband was like, you can make a living doing this. This is the kind of voiceover you should be doing. And he got excited about it and got all into like making sure I had gear and, fixing up a closet to make it a booth.
Heck yeah.
There's some spousal support right there.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, don't you
yeah.
worry, honey. Let me set everything up for you so you can make me
Yeah.
money.
Hold on,
yeah.
Nicole. Why is my wife not doing this for
I
me?
mean, that is kind of what happened. And I, honestly, very grateful for his support. And he's more tech savvy than I am, for sure. And more
Shout out
interested
to
in
Ashley's
that.
husband.
Shout out to
I
Dave.
don't know you. I don't know your
Dave.
name, but
He's
you're
a
a
good
great guy.
Dave, you rock.
Yeah. So that's it. It started. And then, of course, kind of like many others, the pandemic happened. And a lot of actors were like, what am I going to do? And I felt fortunate enough to have a bit of understanding, but certainly wasn't immersed in the world, didn't know everything, didn't know who was who or what to do or how to get things done. And so, but there was time. There was time to get some coaching, to meet people, to ask people for a Zoom call, to tell me what they know. And so, yeah, that was a long way to tell you. I mean, that's way more than the itch.
No,
The itch was
that's a
back
good
in-
story.
Back
No.
after clown class in grad school.
So at this time, back before the pandemic, you graduated from grad school. Your theater, you do play. I mean, what other other things besides voiceover then have you done? I mean, obviously you said you were on stage. Have you done any in front of camera work or anything like that?
Yeah. So I've done a decent amount of like on camera commercials just for different things here and there, and some TV guest
Mitch
spots.
is nodding his head like he's seen you in something.
Have you seen me in something?
Well, it
He
might have been
probably stalked you online. He went to YouTube and was like,
when I first met Ashley, she told me this, and I'm like, oh, well, I tell you what I see you in, that age-old question. And she's like, oh, I was in is it Downey or Bounty or I can
Downey.
never remember. Downey,
Yes.
I got it. Okay, I got it right.
"Are you the bear?"
Just this little
I'm
Downey.
not the bear. That's not
So-
Downey. I don't think that's Downey. I think that's Sherman.
No, not that bear.
There's lots of bears.
Oh,
little-
is there
the little
Downey
Downey
bear? Oh, no,
stuffed
no,
animal
that's
bear. No, I know. That's not a person
it's
in a
not.
suit.
Yeah,
That's
no, I
actually
get it.
like
It's a
CGI. I know.
real bear. No.
I know. It's a joke. I'm joking.
He jokes sometimes on the show.
So anyway, I derail all the time. Mitch, continue with your story of stalking Ashley.
Yeah, well, I had to. Well, I was on this little commercial or whatever, and I'm like, well, I gotta see what her on-screen thing was, and there was more to this. She actually met. You can tell this part of the story.
This is actually pretty fun. This happened right before I met Mitch, I think. It was pretty quick. It was when I was walking the halls before I found a seat to sit and look around and smile at people. I was just walking the halls, and I felt like, new kid at school, definitely. I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. Everyone seems to know where they're going. I'm just going to try and play it cool. And someone said, Ashley? And I turned around, and she seemed to know who I was, and I could tell, I for a second I was like, oh, I don't know who this is. Just be honest, just say, where do I know you from? But I knew as I was looking at her that I would not have forgotten her. So I was like, I don't know that that I've actually met this person, but just in case, I said, I'm sorry, where have we worked together? And I think she had like a cough drop or something in her mouth, and she was like, wait for it. And when she said, wait for it, I knew who she was, but she wanted to tell me. So I was like, I know who you are. And I started getting really, really excited. And it was L.A. Benjamin, who was the voice in the Downey commercial. So in this Downey commercial, I'm lip syncing to a parody of Total Eclipse of the Heart. And she did the voice to
This
that.
is a national spot that you
Whoa.
see when your TV goes blank. You see, like, no matter what happens, you're going to see this spot. So I can tell you've seen this spot.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I mean, I'll be honest, it's pretty sad. Like, here I am trying to get into voiceover, and I do everything I can to avoid commercials.
Right.
I even pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't have to skip over the commercials.
I
on
have it
YouTube.
too, and sometimes I'm like, I got to cancel it because I just want to watch the commercials.
Yeah.
We're going to cue the spot right now.
And?
Okay.
Are you serious?
Okay.
And I actually don't know if we have the rights to do that. We don't get paid, so I wonder if we could do that, but I'm going to give it a
Bob,
shot.
Roll the clip.
I'm going to give it a shot, I think, this time.
We probably
So-
have the ability to do that, but we're just so small time.
I'm going to
Just
give it a
like,
shot.
We're just doing a podcast. We don't know all that technical
We don't
stuff.
need that. We don't need all that.
Yeah.
I feel like
we
that
hit
was leading somewhere, though. That whole story was
That's
leading.
how I met L.A. And, oh yeah, where was that going?
I think it was going into you.
The other thing?
You have lots of things you're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
you are an on-screen actor, and that's
Sometimes.
that was the first thing you told me you did.
Yeah.
And I was, after watching, I'm like, oh my God, I never know a celebrity.
Yeah,
don't know.
that's exactly what I'm doing as soon as we hit stop. I'll be like, all right, let's see you later. I'm gonna
Yeah,
Google,
we're
Google,
going
Google.
to watch it together.
Yeah.
But so, do you think you were kind of like, are you still feeling the flows of the voice acting and still like hitting the on-camera stuff? Are you like pivoting? Are you like Jordaning this whole
Oh, I like
thing?
that.
Wow. Look at you
yeah.
pulling the old basketball reference.
He's the only guy.
I
the only guy
have
you know.
Barry Sanders. Okay.
always said that this is where you're going to lose me. I'm like, I was good Jordaning. I don't know if
Yeah.
I know basketball well enough to. So.
Everybody knows Jordan, though.
No, I don't.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
Back on track.
I've always said like people are like, what's your dream? What do you really want to do? And I could maybe tell you in the different areas, like what kind of commercials I'd like to do or what kind of TV I'd like to do. But I'm really kind of like, I'll take what I can book for the most part. I mean, there are certain things that I gravitate towards for sure. But in terms of like, no, I'm never going to do VO. I'm just going to do TV. No, absolutely not. I love VO. I like doing TV too. If I can
Nice.
get cast, I want to do it. And theater as
Okay.
well. Same thing.
Scratch.
I went to school to be an
the what is your dream question?
Yep.
off
Get rid of it.
the list.
Everything. yeah.
To be honestly, I used to say to be a consistently working actor, and that's kind of which is how VO has been, and not that it's always consistent,
Yeah.
but it has helped me feel more like a working actor because of the ways we can do some work on our own, because of all the areas of VO. It's not just commercial VO. It's not just like waiting around for a commercial or a big TV show to start. There is all sorts of ways to be behind the mic, and I love that about VO. And it feels really, I think I love being an actor, but I definitely, when I'm having conversations with new people, I'm like, what do you do? And I'm kind of like, I'm an actor, Like, what have you done? And if you don't have anything that's like they know, then no, you're not an actor.
Yeah.
And something about
That is how
VO
it
kind of
feels.
helps me feel a little more like I am.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
doing
Like-
this.
Click on this ad.
The cool thing about that, I mean, with this, this community too, and you have done things, so this doesn't apply. But like when I went to One Voice, I was very green. I had just hung up the shingle a couple of months earlier, and nothing had done absolutely nothing, and I felt like an imposter. And for the first little bit, I was like, what am I doing here? But I had a conversation with someone. It was probably, I think it was Tim Powers, where, I mentioned, I haven't done any, so I said something like, I'm aspiring to be a voice actor, or I'm working on it. And he was like, no, Mike, you are a voice actor. You may not have booked anything, but you are a voice actor. And, that just set the tone for the whole conference, that, I was accepted as one of them. So one of us.
And one of us. And I like that about the VO community. I
Yes.
feel that more than I feel that more in the VO community than I have other places. You know what I mean? Like, you're here, you're doing it, you're in.
And do you feel, I mean, this is kind of across the board as well, but I mean, do you feel like you're in competition with people, obviously, but everyone's rooting for everyone to do well?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is, and I think certainly I have found that across the acting community in different areas, in different pockets where I feel really supported by other actors. But I think in the VO community, I mean, just a lot of people willing to share and teach. And maybe that, I mean, I definitely think it's a more popular acting avenue. I think more people are talking about doing VO now. I think I hear more actors talking about wanting to do VO, people that went to school for theater, or plan to be theater actors or TV film actors that are talking about VO. And again, I haven't been doing this that long, but I feel like even in the time I've been doing it, I've heard more people saying, it just has more of a presence. But maybe because it didn't at one point, there just is a lot of like, there's a welcoming spirit. Like, come on in, this is what you got to do. These are ways to do it. These are ways to do it and not break the bank, Here's a way to get
And you
started.
can always-
People willing to help each other out and
Yeah.
mentor
You
each
can-
other. And
Exactly. You can find somebody who, doesn't need to get paid to give you a little bit of advice or whatever right away. You got friends immediately because maybe it's because a lot of us are news-ish still. Like, I still feel new-ish. And I remember that, like, what am I doing? Like, just type online, how be voice actor. And then it's like, insert money here. And I couldn't put the money in my computer fast enough.
There's certainly a lot of that. I mean, as much as like AI listens to you, every time you turn on your, you look at social media or whatever, the feed is always, hey, so you want to be a voice actor? Pay me and I'll show you how. So there's a lot of that. Not to say that there's not a lot of great coaches and a lot of great people out there that can
Absolutely.
get you farther, because there are, and we've met, we know a lot of them.
Yeah.
It just seems like there's so many people out there that are like, give me your money and I'll tell you exactly what to do. It's so easy. And it's not easy. Some people have great success right out of the gate, but a lot of us, takes a while to get established, and some people aren't willing to stick with it. But anyway, I digress.
No, I was
Mitch,
going
you
to
had a
say, I was going
question.
to add to that, if it's okay.
Yeah,
my
either
super
way.
supportive husband
bound.
is always, he's like, it's really the folks that are sticking with it, and that's, again, across the board of acting. Sometimes sometimes you do. Sometimes there are people. And when I talk to people that ask me how I got into this or what they should do, I'm like, listen, I went like a undergrad to grad school route, and that is a way to do it. But certainly there are people that are like, I want to be an actor, and they go audition for something the next day and they book it. I believe that happens. It happens. It didn't happen to me. It wasn't the way I was going to do it, but it can happen. But I think more often than not, it's staying in the game and learning and really like creating a business and figuring out what we do in those quiet times. I have a list that's on my phone that I sometimes go to, like that list of, okay, it's getting a little quiet. I'm getting a little antsy. What are my to-dos? What am I focusing on right now?
What's on the list?
All sorts of things.
Help us, please.
Let me see if I can pull up my list real quick.
Oh,
what does
yeah.
Ashley do in her downtime?
It's not super exciting, honestly.
Well, then, the list that you don't like to get to is usually not too exciting. There's a reason that it's there to remind you that you have to do it.
The things I need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I say like update my profiles, update my website, do my audition tracking, research new equipment, clean up my Google Drive, schedule a coaching, practice scripts, read a script, listen to an industry podcast.
Hey,
like this one, right?
Now you get us on
Not going to learn much here.
Although I don't know, can you call us an industry podcast? We're just a couple of goofballs that are
We are.
trying to get the word out about great people in the industry.
We're a niche podcast.
We're a
about
niche podcast, yes.
Specific industry for sure.
I think for sure. For sure an industry podcast. I pray about my work. I like to pray. I pray about it. I think about it, maybe write about it, do a vocal warm-up. Listen back to things, whatever. And so that's just, I add to this list, but that's for the most part what's on there. Oh, and then learn one skill on Adobe Audition. Learn something new. What do I not know how to do?
That makes sense. I need to do more learning on that sort of thing.
Just stuff like that. What can I be working on? And I do find when I dive into this list, I know it sounds silly, but, work begets work. It's a thing. And if I'm doing some work, oftentimes things come, And I'm always glad if any of the preparation stuff, I'm always glad I've done, Like, I'm never going to be upset that I warmed up or that I read that script that I now know when it, shows up in an audition. So.
Yeah, it's like mowing the grass. It's like, it sucks to think about doing it, but once you do it, you're like, I'm glad I did that.
This looks a lot better.
Yes.
I hate to say I like mowing grass.
Okay. I don't have grass. Wait, this is New York City. And,
yes.
I don't know.
Okay. I've got too much of it.
Trimming the indoor plants, perhaps.
That? Yeah,
it's about this long in the backyard right
now.
Because I did not do that this
gun.
weekend. So,
because it's 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it there?
Well, it's funny because it's actually hotter up north than it is down south right now. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. We were playing D&D online. Friend of the program, Kat Jade. We were, she was in her place in Minnesota. And she's like, it is 96 degrees out with 70% humidity right now. She said, I cannot get cool. My air conditioner will not stay up with it. And I'm like looking, I'm like, wow, it's 91 in Texas, but it's still bad. But how is it hotter up there?
And Minnesota, they're not built for that.
No.
Like, we're not built for that here. I was looking it up. I was like, what's it supposed to be right now? In the 80s.
80s.
That's what we're used to here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
The index was 109 when I went to pick up my daughter from school. I was like, do I even go? Let's all just stay inside.
That's like egg cooking
Does it
on the
make
sidewalk.
sense to you that all of a sudden, like in the last 10 years, they've gone to feels like? It's like if it's 86 degrees, but it feels like 97, isn't it 97?
There you go.
How does it feel like
You're right.
109, but it's not 109? I don't get that.
This is a Seinfeld
Absolutely right.
stand-up thing.
Yeah.
What's going on with the 109?
Why don't they just say what it really is? There's our chat GPT just
There you go,
dueling Seinfeld.
B. Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hey.
That's funny.
Can you do a Seinfeld impression? No,
I don't think I can.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can be Elaine.
I'm like, I could
you
try.
Can be Elaine. And
I don't know that I have an Elaine. Yeah. Jerry, I don't know. What does she do? I'd have to watch for a second.
Good question. Yeah. I had a question. It was right there. Mike, you got one? You got one on the rip?
Well, so yeah, you've done some stage stuff, you've done some on-screen stuff, you're doing the VO stuff now. You've already dashed my dream of asking you what your dream is.
It really is consistently working. That really is the dream.
Yeah. So
agreed.
So
keep
what
going.
What advice would you have? And we're not really an advice podcast, but I mean, what advice would you have for, the aspiring VO actor, or even like just the person who's like, I want to be on stage, but this VO thing is calling to me. So someone that kind of comes from your, heavy theater background, who wants to get into VO.
I mean, talk to someone smarter than I am about it. I would probably connect them to other people. I really do. Like, listening to a podcast is my free education. That is where I do like to look for information, especially a podcast like yours that's been out for a little while. I can flip through some episodes,
Our episodes
there are a lot
very
of casting
accessible.
directors that hop on podcasts, like there's just, I could say, oh, I found one. I was like, I want to know more about e-learning. Okay. I'm just going to flip through and see who's talking about e-learning, or who's talking about equipment, So I really would just start gathering information. If said person was working with an agency, I would say make sure they know what you want to be doing, but also to be looking, because there are opportunities to work, with or without an agent, in VO, like looks, check into some of that. I am also one that just, I think when we talk about what we want to do, those things sometimes show up. So I'd say just tell people. That's terrible
manifesting?
advice, but kind of manifest it,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but really getting education and listening to things and, trying to make those connections to get started. A conference, I wouldn't knock a conference.
I wouldn't.
I think someone, especially with an acting background, who like really is like, I think this is something I could do. A conference is a great idea because you got all that knowledge and all of those people to network with right there in one great weekend.
Would you agree that
That's my pitch.
a couple good people, I think, at least.
At least.
Would you agree that telling people that you're doing the thing is a positive thing, almost like strangers have to hold you accountable, or no?
Okay. It's funny because as it came out of my mouth, I was like, you don't do that. I sometimes don't talk about work. I stopped telling people what I'm auditioning for, or if I have an audition.
Right.
People will, especially I feel very fortunate. My agents and I have a great relationship, and they send me a lot of VO to audition for, at least. And I feel, and there's definitely lulls, do not get me wrong, but I feel very grateful. And so sometimes, and I put everything I've got into those auditions, and I might talk about it with maybe a parent friend who then comes back and goes, how was the audition? Like 2 weeks later. And I'm not sure which one they're talking about. And I actually don't want to talk about it. And I didn't get it, So sometimes I don't. But I think saying, hey, this is something I'm working towards, or I'm interested in this. Like, I do tell people I would love to, should I say it on the podcast? Wow, that feels super vulnerable.
Oh, do it.
But
Do
listen,
it.
I would love to be the voice of a brand. I would love to do that. I would love to do more narration, documentary narration specifically. I would love to do more promo. So I say those types of things.
Manifest
These are the
it.
things I'm working towards. These are the things I would be so happy to do. So check back in with me. Let's see if this works.
Yeah, well,
Are you
hopefully,
working
yeah,
with
we'll
somebody?
have you back on the program, somewhere down in the future, and you
Okay.
can say, hey, remember all those things that I
They're
said I wanted to
happening.
do? Well, here's what's happening now.
That'd be amazing.
And yeah,
what else
it
should
would
I
be.
say?
Yeah.
So do you only get auditions through agents? Do you have other means that you find them?
So for the most part, yes, through agents. I sometimes convert work. I hope this is okay for me to say. My agents, I think, know this. I sometimes will convert work. I am SAG, and so I'm pretty, I think everyone does what is best for them. I am pretty, that's how my kids have health insurance, so I stay pretty by the book. And so if there's something I can convert, I will. And otherwise, it's coming through my agents. Yeah, so it
Wow.
can be a union
Nice.
gig. Yeah. Which has been cool. But there are a lot, and again, if I'm talking to someone that is not, then yeah, we talk about all the ways, to do VO, because there's plenty. But there's plenty for SAG actors as well. Plenty to find and do, and yeah, that's worked for me.
That's a big question. I got the letter in the mail. Are you ready to become a SAG actor? After one gig.
Yeah.
I posted it, and everyone's like, "You're in SAG now?" And I'm like, wait. No, this is just the acceptance letter after one gig. Hold. And I really had to think, of course, what would I be missing out on?
Yes.
Or is this going to change my life? And I'm guessing you kind of had this guiding light, like, well, SAG is kind of next, especially as an on-screen actor. There might be more going on there, and you want to be on TV and things of that nature. So do you think that maybe more pulled you into that instead of being non-union?
Do I think television, wanting to work in television?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And that's how I became SAG in like the saddest of ways. It was like just the smallest jobs. It wasn't like I got this big job that I was like, I'm just going to take a quick percentage of this and put it towards my dues. It was like, I was like, I was maybe a couple years out of school, but I definitely had to call home and be like, can you help me out so I can do this next job? I booked a small job and then another small job and then another small job that I had to, be a must join. I was a must join. And so it took a while to like actually make money on camera. No, it definitely happened because of on camera work, and wanting to do commercials as well. And so they were small commercials, and then, and they got bigger, fortunately. But yeah, that's where it was for me. So I wasn't even thinking about, and actually, I'm aging myself here. But back in the day, it wasn't SAG-AFTRA. I remember those days. And so I wasn't, and AFTRA, if I'm not mistaken, was a lot of the VO. And so I wasn't thinking about that then. Okay. Because I wasn't doing a lot of VO. So by the time I was already, I was pretty committed to being a SAG member, and it was working for me. And so that's that.
Nice. Okay, so we spoke.
So wait, what are you going to do?
Yeah. What am I?
Am I allowed to ask questions?
I don't
what
think
are you
he
going to
still
do?
know. I don't think he knows still.
I do.
What
know.
are you going to do?
You do know. What are you?
Oh, you haven't even told me.
Well, I think I would have joined by now, but I'm gonna chill for a bit and see. I don't see a lot of union stuff come down the pipeline. That's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I know it's there.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing more non-union work at this point. Even some of the on-screen commercial stuff that I see come down is all non-union still, at least in my area. I'm in Detroit, so I'd be doing a Mike Morse commercial or a Top Dog Law commercial. That's what it's called, Mike. It's called Top Dog Law. Okay. By the way, they're going to get
Call
so
back
many
to
plugs.
a previous show.
Yes. Top Dog Law. Look it up. Anyway, I don't think it's time for me.
Okay.
But I do wonder. We talked previously, and we talked about some of your on-screen work, and I did want to bring this up.
Okay.
First of all, we talked about how you are trained in dramatic acting. Yeah. And you love it.
Yes, I do. And yes, go on. Keep going.
Keep building her up.
You're
wonderful,
and you're great at it, and you're funny, and you recently had this. It wasn't even you had an audition for a big gig. Ooh. And continue the story because I want to hear it again.
Yeah. Oh, good. Thanks. I'm so glad. Just so you know, I get beat up in this story that he wants to hear again.
No.
He's asking you to tell it for his ego, not yours.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us about
you're so successful.
Really
tell us about something that went wrong.
I grabbed her
detail.
role.
Give us
Everyone wants to know about,
No, but just be getting the chance. Go ahead.
I do think it is important, as hard as it is. I have been grateful when I've seen other actors either post or share experience they've had when it hasn't worked out and how they've moved through that, because I think it's just a big part for many of us. Again, there are those people that I want to be an actor. They audition the next day, they book it. The rest is history kind of stories. They happen. But for a lot of us, it is not that. And I do think it's important to talk about. And I do think I have been helped and healed a little when other people have told their stories. So sure, yeah. Without too much specific detail, I will say I auditioned for a TV series. I auditioned and I was actually really into it. I was like, I actually think I can play this. Sometimes things come in and I'm like, okay, sure, but I the Rolodex in my head is like, I know this person would just really do a great job with this, and I know this, and so I start kind of, thinking total imposter syndrome. This time I was like, I actually really like this role. I'm going to put everything I've got into this, and not that I don't put a lot into the others, but I was like, I'm going to let myself want this a little bit, and my wonderful supportive husband Dave put me on tape for this thing, and then Dave. That was it, because that's how it goes. I sent it in, and I started doing other things on the list, and I was working on my promo demo, and I got a call from my agent in the middle of that who said, "You're in the mix," and you're in the mix for this like limited series, which is also, this is like lazy actor dream. I'm like, yeah, I want to be in a limited series, like 6, not all the episodes, not a huge role, but a decent size. Like, it was everything I wanted, and so I thought, man, wow, okay, on
a real platform.
And exactly.
Yeah, not too big. Yeah,
not too much. Shoot, I'm losing my train of thought. You got shortlisted. I've been having a pretty good year. I was feeling pretty good about myself, I should say. Like, I was feeling like the things that I've been wanting to have happen in my career. I felt really pumped up by VO Atlanta. Like, it was feeling good. I was feeling good about how work was going, and so hearing that I was in the mix for this also felt great. And I probably could have been fine if that had been it. Like, wow, it's so good to know that, maybe I can book TV, because sometimes these things come in, you put it out there and you don't know. And now there's, callbacks aren't really a thing in the way they were, because who needs them? They've got the tape, and that's not like they didn't have the tape before, but just did more callbacks. I've booked things off of one tape multiple times since the pandemic. And so I feel like, yeah, it's just I feel like I just throw a lot out there and never know. And so it was really nice to hear back, and I was feeling really good and excited. And then so I was waiting and trying not to look at my phone, but definitely I went right back to like a year out of school. I'm like looking at my phone. Is this, and I know better, and I'm looking, and I finally, my agent had said, if you don't hear from me by this point, you go ahead and reach out. And so I was like, do I? And I did, and he said, you're definitely still in the mix, and then called me back like 10 minutes later and was like, yeah, you're gonna travel for this one. They just need to do one more read to make sure you work well with the person that would be playing opposite you. Just one more read, but it's yours. It's yours. And it was feeling really, no one else is getting that. No one, it's not like it's me and 4 other people. It's not down to like top 2 kind of thing. This is, essentially mine to lose. And unfortunately, I went out there. I packed for the whole week because it was going to require shooting right away, do this read, and keep going right into, filming. And so I had my I'm calling it, one of my friends called it my suitcase of hope. I call it my bachelorette suitcase. I don't know, for any reality TV fans, when they do those 2-on-1 dates and they show those suitcases and one of them rolls away. Well, I had to roll mine away. I went out and honestly, I felt great about what I did. I went out. I felt prepared. I felt much more prepared than I did even for the audition, which I prepared well for. And so I did everything I could. And it didn't go my way, and it happened, it felt a little brutal. It happened kind of in a way that doesn't, we're kind of used to getting those no's and an email, you've been released, or you get the phone call that you don't want to get. And this was, it wasn't quite in person, but it was like, we're going to take you back to the hotel and you just hang out there for a second. And I knew at that point that it was not going to go my way. And it was rough. And I think that's I guess the main part of the story is how it felt. I mean we're actors. I've heard no so many times. I get released from things that I've like already forgotten about, like, oh yeah, of course I like, yeah, it's okay, there's a lot of no's, and I've gotten pretty good about that, and enjoying even preparing to do the work, enjoying the audition, enjoying the process, and I'm okay. I get it. We hear no's, but boy, this one just gutted me in a way. And I was like by myself, away from my family, and not close to home, couldn't just like hop on the train or in a car. I had to get on a flight and wait for the flight to be rescheduled.
Oh,
because
no.
I wasn't supposed to go home, you know? So
God.
they had to reschedule me, and it was just awful in that hotel room. You know, but it was good that I was by myself, I guess, because I had a real good cry like I haven't in a long, long time. And just kind of, I mean, my agent was great and talked through things with me. And then I just grieved this, like, putting myself out there. There was a bit of an interview involved where they, you know, just getting to know each other kind of thing. And so I felt like, did I say something wrong about who I am? Did I put myself out there even though it felt authentic and good? Was there something wrong with it? Is there something wrong with me? Not my work, but me, who I am.
And you have to sit in a hotel room by yourself thinking all these
and
things.
sit there. What did I reveal about myself that was a no? Because they had the tape. They've seen a full body shot. They've seen me. They've seen the work. But then they met me, and it's a no. So what is it about me? So I had to really, that was uncomfortable for a long while. And unfortunately, I allowed it to kind of take all of the good feelings I had felt up all this year, and it just kind of threw everything away. I thought, man, if I had just heard, oh, you're in the mix, and that was it. Oh, it didn't work out. I would have been, but yeah, but I was in the mix, and so it's close, and I would have felt that momentum, and everything just crashed. I was having those thoughts of like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Like maybe this isn't right. I don't even, that felt awful, and I don't know that I even want to come close to feeling that again. And I don't want to hear like, oh, the next thing's right around the corner, because I know it's not necessarily. Could be, but that's not a guarantee just because I had this hard thing, that the end of the story, the happy ending of the story is like coming, you know, just around the corner.
Right.
Not necessarily.
How do you get from
Sorry,
crying?
that's a downer.
Yeah.
No.
Join us next week, folks, for more uplifting
I'm
stories.
So sorry.
With our no, but it was a good story, and you know the thing is, like you said, I mean, it's a story that people need to hear, because everybody is out there beating, you know, pounding the pavement, and maybe not having a lot of success, and having those almost gets and all of that, and everybody feels bad when they don't get something.
Yeah.
So you know, to hear that story, hopefully, will allow our listeners to go, yeah, that's me on a more major scale, probably. But, you know, okay, I'm not the only one going through this, you know, this rejection thing.
There's more to the story, though. This was months ago.
This
How
was,
did you,
a little over, a month and a half ago. Yeah.
month and a half ago.
Yeah.
How
And
did you
sit
get
here
from,
with us? You're obviously still doing it.
Right.
Still doing.
How do you get that from crying and being broken for a second, which I've done, and I haven't had that big of an opportunity yet. Maybe not crying. I'm probably crying. And then to hear where you can tell the story, maybe chuckle a little bit, and maybe, I don't know if you're hiding still your sadness about it, but
How do
you rebuild?
I'm in process for sure. Some of it was the personal part of it, like talking to, you know, and my parents, it was something, and the project was something that my parents were interested in, and my dad having these like, you've been working your way to this all along. Like it was just, there was just so much. And I was asked about my family in the interview, and so I was talking about it just felt very personal. So some of that has just been like a lot of reflection, a lot of conversation. Obviously I'm a chatty person, so you know, I hop on a call with friends and have talked through it a lot. To anyone who will listen. And so that has helped, talking about it. VO has helped because it is like, I enjoy it. For me, at least right now, there's less space between auditions. And so there's just more to kind of focus on and work on. But I am still in process with this one. Which I will say is rare for me. It usually doesn't last this long. This is different. And I'm asking myself questions about how I want to work and what really is important to me. And it also, one good thing that almost was almost immediate is that I was like, oh, why am I just wanted to like not be precious about anything. I was like, I don't even care. Like, so I'd make a mistake in the booth, a little something. I was like, it gives it character. Send it, instead of like going back 10 or, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, keep it.
Keep
That's
the
who I am.
toots. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I just, that has been nice. And I hope that sticks around a little bit because I have a tendency to say, ooh, I feel like especially being by myself in this booth,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, or being by myself, in front of the camera, in a room, like, there's no one that's like, someone's right after you. We got to get you out of here. You get one more take. I can do as many takes as I want to. And that is so dangerous. That is so dangerous. And then I can look at them or listen to them. And so one thing that was immediately helpful and that I hope stays is that I just was like, oh, who even cares? Who even cares? Why am I, I had a castmate once that would say, it's all play pretend. It's all play pretend, just like,
That's the truth.
Yeah. Well, and it can definitely, you get to that point where you're not as perfectionist. Mm-hmm. It probably takes a lot of the pressure off.
Absolutely.
Makes it more fun.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Because you're not, because we all get in our heads, in our own heads, and we can sit in here and re-record something 100 times, and just by the time you hit that 95th recording, that you're still just like, it's not right. You're ready to take your computer and your microphone and toss it out the window.
Sell it to.
So if you can like hit that third take and go, did a little thing there that maybe not, but you know what? Gives it character. Let's go.
Yep.
Hit send.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope it sticks. I did. It worked
I hope
today.
so too for you because I
Thank
hope
you.
it sticks and I hope it leads to a lot of success.
Thank you.
Because you're more natural.
I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna speak for both of us here. It wasn't you. I mean,
It wasn't me.
it wasn't. It wasn't the chatty version of you.
thanks.
No, I'm gonna guess and I'm gonna say I think it was probably your breath, and then
because we
because
we
it couldn't
can't
be
tell.
your personality.
We
No.
can't
Had to be
tell.
something.
Yeah.
Body
I'm alone
odor.
in the
If you
booth a
use
lot.
the
It's
wrong
not something I'm
deodorant, I
thinking
don't know.
about.
Maybe
I show
it
up in
was-
person.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did you?
you're right.
Did you break wind in the room? Is that what happened? No.
Oh gosh.
Shoot.
That's
And we'll
what.
keep
See,
thinking
that's where
about
we
it.
go.
Someone.
Mike has now devolved everything, and that's
Into burps and
yes.
farts.
Hey, burp and fart humor is never not fun.
I think we're just gonna. I think it's time to play. Unless
I think it's time to
Ashley,
play.
Unless you have more that we need from you here, because I feel like there's a lot of deep stories based on that one. You could maybe do a 3-hour podcast.
Oh, yeah, no.
But would
And
you,
I-
would
like I
you
said, I'm
rather
chatty.
play a game right now?
I'd rather play a game. I'd
Okay.
much
All
rather
right.
play a game right
All
now.
right.
We're going to play a game. So as we do, we'll pause here. It will be imperceptible to you, and we'll come up with something really weird.
I love how he has to always tell people.
I do.
what's
I don't
about
know
to-
why. Hey, I'm
You
going to
know what?
pause.
You-
Hey, we're
you-
back.
You were going to shut your tiny eyes.
Yes.
And then we're.
Just play with me, and you hit pause too, and it'll
Blink.
seem like we were
Yeah.
gone, but we won't really be.
Blink on 3,
Yeah.
2, 1.
And see, this is all going to be in the podcast because we don't cut stuff out. We just
I know.
let it
Not
be.
really.
That's how we are.
Maybe a large
Okay.
cough.
Wow,
Oh boy,
this one's interesting.
I'm loving it.
All right, I'm going to give you the characters, give you a setting, and then we're going to roll right into it. Here we go. So this takes place between Hagmora, an evil sorceress of 1,000 curses, wears robes, carries skulls in her purse, gives major boss energy, and her henchman, Glibber, hyper, dim, really wants approval, has goggles, probably shouldn't.
Oh, can I do mine?
Yeah, you do yours.
I'm anxious, grimy, low-level goblin vibes, constantly eating non-foods.
Yeah, his name's Munch. All right, here we go. Setting. Spinhex Cleaners. A dingy laundromat with cracked tiles, flickering lights, and at least one portal to another realm embedded in dryer number 4. Interior. Spinhex Cleaners. Night. Hagmora towers over a washing machine. Robes stained deep red. Glibber fiddles with buttons, while Munch shoves his face into a basket of suspicious socks.
Oh, malevolent forces of soap and shadow, bring forth a cycle most unholy.
Mistress, should I press heavy duty or dark in regret?
This one's whispering secrets to me. I don't like it.
You imbeciles! These robes were soaked in the blood of 5 kings. You can't just throw them in with your underworld undies. They're haunted.
Oh, I thought that was just a limited edition Tide Pod flavor. So crimson. Delicious.
Munch eats a dryer sheet and begins to twitch.
I have tasted fabric softener and seen the future. It is static cling.
You boiled my black cowl of endless screaming. Look at it! It's a woodland critter. I am not the witch of rural charm.
Well, maybe we lean into it. See, evil, but approachable. Like evil, but etsy.
She cursed the world, but made candles on the side.
Silence! Both of you. I have broken armies, banished gods, imprisoned entire civilizations inside a snow globe. And now I am here, scraping blood out of armpits with a toothbrush.
Well, technically, that's my toothbrush.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Munch's sock bites him again.
Ow. Oh, okay. That's it. It has teeth. Socks shouldn't have teeth.
I think one of them is your dad now.
Glibber? Where is the enchanted stain remover I gave you?
Here. Oh, wait. Is this the love potion we made for that werewolf dentist?
Glibber? Have you poured this on my royal underthings?
Oh, yes. And I may have whispered to them about my hopes and dreams.
One of them proposed to me.
My throne robes are now emotionally attached to Munch.
Well, they deserve happiness too. You know.
And we're thinking about a spring wedding, blood garden, modest buffet.
See?
A whirring shriek comes from dryer number 4. A swirling portal opens, hissing mist, and screams.
See what you've done? You opened the lint gate. Now the ancient static spirits will escape.
That's bad, right?
Yes, that's bad, Glibber. That's dimension-rippingly bad.
Fluffington cometh.
A monstrous sock beast made of lint, rogue clothing, and wire hangers rises from the portal. It roars.
Okay. We'll fix it. Quick, toss in a fabric softener grenade, Munch.
Used them all. I've been eating them like Skittles.
Enough! If destiny demands I conquer this laundromat, then so be it.
She stands tall, dark energy gathering around her. She raises her hand, and then hurls a Tide Pod directly into the beast's mouth.
By the sacred suds of Sarnath, be gone, damp beast!
The creature gurgles, then dissolves into clean folded towels. Soft harp music plays.
Whoa. That was beautiful.
I think I peed myself a little, but like in a majestic way.
Oh, yeah.
I am never coming here again.
Oh, come on. Next week's Free Bleach Friday.
And they do friendly goblin drying.
If either of you say the word delicates again, I will turn your blood into Febreze.
Do you want to do whites or colors next?
I don't think I ever said delicate.
No, but you said friendly goblins.
Yeah, I did.
Not
Instead
goblin
of goblin friendly. Yep.
That's okay, though. That was fun. Jeez, that was good. ChatGPT is getting a little bit better at these things every time, I think.
Let's not look like a weirdo now. I want to be more goblin-like with my hair askew, but...
Well, yeah.
Great work, you witch.
Yeah. You sunk your teeth into that thing.
Listen, that's
really
a fun
nice.
thing y'all do. That's fun.
Yeah, well,
might just
yeah,
do
that's why
that.
we do it. We
Yeah.
don't do it because it's, it
Boring.
helps us any. We do it because it's just fun. It's just fun to act and do weird
It's good
things.
for us.
Yeah.
Well, Ashley, it has been a joy to have you on the program, and I think Mitch agrees as well. We'd love to have you back someday.
Thank you very much.
Again, hopefully you'll come back with many wonderful stories of all the great success you've had. Again, just thank you so much. You're a ray of sunshine.
I appreciate it. This was really fun. Thank you both.
All right, everyone. Awkward goodbyes.
Oh, bye.
Hey,
Bye.
all right.
I wanted to say how great
Thank
she
you all.
was.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
Too bad. You can't
Okay.
say how great she was anymore because the podcast is over.
Dang it.